Resist the urge to push this wave. A lot of people will get their Baron wave and then they'll sit up here, they'll just shove this, and all it's going to do is help your enemies because this wave will go too far ahead. It'll die to the turret or to the enemies before the rest of the waves that our team has will be able to catch up. What's up, GIGA gamers? Welcome to the Strat Chat. Today we're going to galvanize your intellect. We're going to be talking about split pushing, using triangles to understand the defense and therefore how to exploit and how to produce the very best split push in your games. Let's check it out. Alright, so here we go. This is a typical situation that you might find after your team just got Baron. You probably want to fight to get there. Everyone reset. Enemy team is in darkness. You don't see where they are, but you can assume that they're coming out of their base. And you're thinking about pushing up, and your waves are here, here, and here, colliding with their waves. So how do we approach this? First off, you need to understand that to defend, the shape of their defense is always going to be a triangle. There's going to be people in all three lanes. It's going to make points based on the origin point, which is their recall to the base. How quickly can they get different places? Now you'll realize they can get mid wave faster than anywhere else. It's longer, much longer to get to the side wave, and the distance, the further that you can make their total distance of coverage, the harder it will be for them to defend. If you look, I'm just going to take this hypotenuse right now. If they have to defend all the way outside their base, they're actually covering only 2 waves with the same amount of total distance. As we get closer and closer to their base, they can consolidate their forces. It's much easier to go, and as you can see, they can get closer and closer and closer together. So it's going to be very important that we succinct our waves and that we make it to their base together. So the first thing to note about the wave states right now is that if you push mid-wave, all you're doing is you're helping them get it. When you look at the shape of our waves right now, they make a sort of point, and the middle wave, which is already the easiest for them to contest, is leading that point. That's not what we want. Enemy forces are going to be able to come out and take this wave before anyone on our team can come to help with it. So for that reason, when you come to this mid wave, it is vital that you do not push it right away. So in this situation, we're sending Renekton top, Syndra bottom. They both have teleport. Lee Sin, Ezreal, and Lulu are looking to come mid. Lee Sin is mostly here to protect the other two. Ezreal can do a perfectly fine job of pushing by themselves. We can get to this wave to protect it from the enemies. If they decide to try to push it, they have to push through Baron empowered stats and resistances. But we're really not looking to push. What we need to do is we need to allow the Renekton to come up over here. We need to allow this wave to come further. We need to allow Syndra to get this wave and push it up. Once these waves are pushing forward, that's when we can go. And you'll notice that the shape of our push has adjusted. Now as we go to the center of where these waves are, you'll notice that it's slightly oblong. This wave, as it's pushing in, these 3 waves can come in at the same time, and as they reach the base, they're all going to be looking to hit turrets at about the same time. That is what you're trying to achieve because it stretches the defenders the maximum amount of distance apart. All right? Resist the urge to push this wave. A lot of people will get their Baron wave and then they'll sit up here, they'll just shove this, and all it's going to do is help your enemies because this wave will go too far ahead. It'll die to the turret or to the enemies before the rest of the waves that our team has will be able to catch up. All right, so we want to avoid pushing that wave. We want to look at the defensive triangle that our opponents have to be able to understand how far they can defend. Let's take a closer look. All right, in this situation, we have a Syndra whose wave is well ahead of Renekton's wave. What does this mean for who can push and who is vulnerable on the team? If you're the Syndra in this situation, you're closer to their base than anyone else on your team is. If we change the direction of this triangle and stretch it up to meet what the actual shape of enemy defense is, you can see that they're never going to go answer Renekton in this case. You're actually the closest one to them, therefore they will go after you every single time. You need to back away from this wave. This means that you have overpushed your team's vision and you cannot go further. Now, if you are the red team and you're pushing and you want to allow Syndra to go a little further, wards like this one and like this one will give her the information that she needs about whether or not she can push any further. Could she and should she are two different answers, right? Because when we're looking at this situation, can she push if you have this vision and you haven't seen anyone cross in front? Now, if you're looking at this situation and you know that no one has passed your two wards, could the Syndra push? Yes. Should she push? No, because still Renekton is still trying to catch this wave up. If you push this wave in, all you're doing is encouraging enemies to come to you and answer you to clear up this wave before having to answer anything else. You're encouraging your opponents to come to you. It doesn't matter if you see them. They're going to walk pretty safely. They're going to clear this wave. And by the time your team can push this wave up, they're going to finish with your wave and they're going to come answer this one as well. And your team has done nothing. Meanwhile, Renekton's trying to get this wave up to no avail. So instead, what can you do? If you're in this situation and you have over pushed or your wave is further ahead than what your teammates can handle, just back away. Just step away for a moment. Let their minions get a little bit of a head start on yours. Don't crash this wave in, all right? The temptation is there. I know it's see minion, kill minion, get gold, but all you're doing is feeding the minions to your enemies. Instead, pull off into the darkness. Over here in the mid wave, they should do something simple, which is called trimming the wave. They should just kill the backline minions. In the case of a Lee Sin E or a Syndra Q, that means just one spell on the backline. You're taking away the majority of their extra damage from the caster line, but you're leaving the beefy melee line. This will accomplish two things. One, your wave will slowly get bigger than theirs, and the reinforcing wave will come and now make it a 10 versus 6 as opposed to a 6 versus 6. Or in the case of cannon waves, 11 versus 7 instead of 7 versus 7. The slower that you push this wave, the better your chances are of accumulating a large advantage that becomes this fist versus a couple fingers, and you can just crush through it. Now, secondly, by only slow pushing the wave, you're allowing the Renekton time to escort his wave forward. All right? When the Renekton's able to catch up to the Syndra's wave, she can resume, and now mid-wave, who's now getting a reinforced wave 10 seconds earlier than you do in the bot lane, they're going to come up here and they're going to start pushing as well. Now you'll notice that it is equidistant for the enemies trying to cover out from their base. Now you'll notice that it is equidistant for the enemies to come out to answer any of your three waves. This doesn't give them time to come out and answer one and then answer another and then answer a third. What this results in is that if they come out to answer one of your waves, the other two teammates can push them, crash them into the wave, and get turret damage in. Now you can rinse and repeat this. Your Baron buff lasts 3 minutes. It takes about 1 minute to reset. So you have 4 ways where you can do this over and over and over and just mash them in. The important thing to do is in mid wave, you have to allow it to slow push. Only take the backline minions. Allow the side lanes the extra 12 seconds that they need to catch their wave up to yours, and then you can come and mash them into the turrets together. By putting them into the turrets together, you maximize the total amount of damage. Now that's what your team wants to do, and especially if you're looking at organized play or in clashes, this is what you can do with your team. But what if you're in solo queue? Same situation that we described earlier with the Syndra. If you're further up than the rest of your team, then you're just presenting a target for the enemy team to come to. And as the singular player, you want it to not be you. You want to force the enemy forces to consolidate around your strongest group of champions and allow your weaker ones to go. Not saying that Syndra or Renekton is weaker individually. In fact, they're each stronger, but one being weaker than 3. You don't want 3 or 4 people jumping on Syndra freely, all right, without being punished. You want 4 people to come defend against this wave and then push yours in with impunity. Every time that you're entering the triangle of defense puts you at risk, okay? This team that's looking at defending against these other waves, when you look at it, Syndra is way over pushed. The triangle of defense can consolidate on Syndra. She's got no business coming here, and in fact, she'll have to abandon this wave and start again. Now, if you have good vision and you see enemy teams rotating towards you, then that can be a green light for the other team, for the other members of your team to start pushing. Renekton can start bringing their wave in, and you can have the 3 champions mid bringing their wave forward as well. But because they were able to take you away, they're able to take your minion wave very easily, then they'll be able to rotate over, clean this one up as well, and your team has to retreat because it's a 3v4. Now, this situation is allowed when you have globals, right? So when you have your teleports, when you have your Twisted Fates, you have your Shens, Gallios, people that can traverse the map quickly. You also need to be aware of how many threats your opponents can make quickly, right? Can they 5v3 your mid lane very quickly by having a side laner dive onto them, having a Pantheon jump behind them? If these are the cases, then you may have to protect the 3 more, or you may have to be more aware of where you're pushing to. Every time that you're pushing in and you're looking to move this, shrink this triangle and push the influence, you have to be aware of how many people can come answer you. If enemy team has Pantheon Shen, then they could actually answer 3 people to you very, very quickly, right? So in this case where we've got Shen, let's say that this is a Pantheon instead of a Jarvan, this Sylas that you were facing off looks fairly innocuous, but then you have a Pantheon jumping over your head, you have a Shen on top of him, and now you're facing down a 3v1, you're a quick, easy target, and you're too far up, you need to back off. In these cases where they have more global pressure than you, it's important to just take it and clear the backline, create that slow push so that the minion wave, if you leave it alone for 2 minutes, it'll just escort its way closer to the base. That way, if you do, when you do rejoin your team, you're mitigating the amount of threat that they have to your group. If they commit 3 people top in the same sort of play that we talked about, where we have Pantheon, Shen, plus Sylas all diving on your Renekton, then you have a 4v2 in the mid wave, and you can come in, crash this, and hopefully get an inhibitor out of it. Once you do, you'll be able to stretch their lines of defense where they have to go side to side in the side lanes. So again, in this typical situation where you've just gotten the Baron buff, try to identify which minion waves are already dead. In this case, I'll let you pause the video. It should be pretty easy. Which minion wave is going to be answered by the defense without ever being able to fortify it? Obviously, in this case, it's the top wave minion wave. All right, they'll be able to answer this much sooner than anyone can collect it. In fact, Renekton going on his path this way should probably actually just be coming into the river, getting ready for the next set of waves. Now, because we have a wave here, that means we do have another one coming out of the base as well. So what we really have to think of is this wave is dead. This is the wave that we have to match with. And since we have one here, we know that we also have one here. So when we think of it this way, where we have collided waves that stagnated mid, collided waves that have stagnated bot, one wave that is over pushed and is going to be collected imminently in the top wave, what we can think of is, all right, we're going to have a double stacked wave mid. We're going to have a double stacked wave bottom, although 10 seconds later, and we're going to have a single stacked wave in the top lane. In this case, you're going to want to set up a slow push so that this wave can come out and start pushing. You definitely do not want to push the mid wave because you want to combine these two and get a double stacked wave. And then you want to crash this wave as well so that you get 2 waves coming in versus 1 on every subsequent case. Try to get these situations, try to push forward. Do not enter the enemy's triangle of defense, and that should give you some better chances of split pushing. First person to link us footage of a split push in their games will get a free live review at twitch.tv/GIGA Gaming Academy. I'll see you guys there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps the channel out a lot. I'll catch you guys next time. Keep it surreal. Peace.